Good morning, liveweatherblogs.com meteorologist Bob here for you with today's tropical update for Sunday, September 19th, 2010, 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time this morning. Watching Hurricane Igor approach Bermuda today. Right now, as of 5 a.m., we had maximum sustained winds of 85 miles an hour. This puts him at a Category 1 hurricane. Movement was to the north-northwest at 12. So we've seen yesterday, Igor went through that eye wall replacement cycle, actually Friday night into yesterday morning, and it never really recovered its inner core. So it couldn't get back to that Category 2 or even 3 status. Once that eye wall replacement cycle completed, its inner core really got disrupted and couldn't really get any stronger. So we've seen a slow weakening since then. Good news for Bermuda. I mean, the system's still pretty big. The surge and water rise is going to be more like a Category 2 or 3 storm because of its large size, and been pretty powerful over the last 4, 5, 6 days. So that's going to be the main thing for Bermuda. They can definitely handle these kind of winds. Buildings across Bermuda are built to, I think, sustain 105, 110 mile per hour winds. So that's not going to be a big factor. I think water rise and surge is going to be a big factor, especially on the southern end of Bermuda. Igor will be passing just to the west of Bermuda here, so they will get into that eastern end of the eye wall, and that's where the strongest winds will be associated with. So they're already getting tropical storm force winds. We're gusting to about 45, 50 miles an hour across Bermuda right now. So they're going to get at least 24 to 36 hours of these tropical storm force winds. And then hurricane force winds will be approaching the island this evening. And another thing, Newfoundland's going to have to watch this carefully. Some of the models are starting to bring this a little closer to the island. And it'll be, at this point, it's going to be a pretty big extratropical system. So you folks here across Newfoundland, especially on the southeastern end here, could be getting the brunt of Igor as well here as a pretty powerful extratropical system. Looking at Igor this morning on the satellite, you're starting to see some dry air starting to get sucked into the western and southwestern end of the circulation here. Still some good convection on the north side. So the center's starting to get disrupted by some dry air. So really don't see this strengthening a whole lot today. Probably pretty much steady state all the way up till it gets to Bermuda by tonight. Should be getting close to the island of Bermuda by around the center, between 10 p.m. midnight tonight. So don't see much strengthening today. Igor should stay about the same. But you can see some of this dry air starting to get sucked into the circulation. And again, this is how big the wind field is. You can see tropical storm force winds extend 345 miles. So huge wind field here. Hurricane force winds about 90. So again, these hurricane force winds will be approaching the island by this evening. And here's the radar out of Bermuda. You can see that these are where the tropical storm force winds are located as they're starting to approach the island early this morning. And then right down here is where the core of the hurricane force winds and the center is. So the center is going to move just like this and pass just west of the island. So it's going to make a move just like that. So this is where the hurricane force winds are down, way down in here. And these are all the tropical storm force winds as they're starting to get pretty steady tropical storm force winds this morning. And again, the models, don't look at these band models. This system's not going to make a hook like this. This is for shallow systems, so don't look at these. But you can see some of the models have brought it a little closer to New Brunswick. And definitely pretty good spread here. But if it gets close to New Brunswick, here we go, Canada again. I can't get these countries straight. Provinces straight. Newfoundland. If it gets pretty close to Newfoundland as an extratropical system, we could Newfoundland's going to bear the brunt of this Igor as well here, so they'll have to watch for that by about Tuesday. All right, that's Igor. What else do we have out there? Tropical Storm Julia. About its lifespan is pretty much almost going to be done here in about 24 hours. It'll eventually get absorbed into big old Igor up here. So Julia's just about done. It's kind of hanging on, but Not much left in it right now. It's a tropical storm, maximum sustained winds at 50 miles an hour. Our other news that we're going to be watching this week will be Invest 94L. This morning, great banding with this feature, good circulation center. This could be on its way to a tropical depression, maybe even sometime today. It's gotten pretty good here, pretty well defined circulation center. Thunderstorms have increased around it. Still finding a little bit of dry air, so that's going to be its biggest thing the next few days. How does it fight this dry air? Does it get some convection going around it? Definitely has that nice spin to it, but will we get convection? So that'll be the biggest thing with this. And you could see the dry air surrounding it right now. It's kind of moved with this Saharan air layer here. So it's going to be fighting that dry air, and if it could fight off that dry air, we'll have to see if it could develop into a system here. I'm still thinking this could become a tropical depression in the next 24 hours. And if you're looking at the shear with this system, pretty good upper level environment. It's a little upper high building over it. As this moves off to the west-northwest, it will be in a pretty good environment. Now, if it does move a little north, we do have higher shear to its north, so we'll have to watch that. The models are kind of torn on this. Some of them want to shoot this up to the north real quick. I don't see that happening. I see more of a west-northwest fashion, and if it could continue to the west-northwest, shear is definitely lighter out here, and if it could fight that dry air, it could be on its way to Lisa. And again, where's it going? Here's the steering layer. Well, you see this big high pressure out here. Igor and Julia will be moving up this way. So I don't really see this shunting off to the north real quickly. I still see this moving off to the west-northwest. And I'll show you the models here in a second. You can see the spread. The GFDL and the HWRF want to shoot this up to the north pretty quickly. I see more of a track like this, west-northwest. I can't see this moving up to the north quickly. So west-northwest. Then if it does develop, will it take again? Will it find that weakness again? Models are kind of torn on this. They're all over the place with development with this system. Right now, I don't see this weakness as strong as it was this week. And again, this is down the road. So I think this is going to kind of continue on a west-northwest fashion if it does develop. And then we'll have to see if there'll be that weakness across the western Atlantic again or not. I still think this might come a little farther west than even Igor if it does develop. So we'll have to watch that carefully. But this is not going right out to sea rather quickly. I don't see that happening right now. And again, looking at the models, this is 8 days out. This is the Euro model, and you can see it has Invest 94L as a tropical storm moving like north. Kind of strange there. Actually just takes it out north. I just really don't see that right now. We still have a little bit of a trough here across the east coast here, and this is 8 days out. And then we can start seeing evidence of a system developing in the Western Caribbean. And I just wanted to point this out because this is what I'm going to be talking about next here. This is our next system we're going to be watching probably later this week into the weekend. Let's watch this energy build up in the Western Caribbean. And then where will it go from there? Will it be more of a west-northwest into Mexico, or could it sneak up into the Gulf of Mexico? And again, I hate to say it, but how about Texas? So the pattern's kind of looking like that, where this could sneak a little farther north. So we'll have to watch development here in the Western Caribbean towards the end of the week into next weekend. Again, about 7 to 10 days out. Same time frame, the GFS does not develop Invest 94L, by the way. Again, you see all this energy building up in the Western Caribbean here, even on the GFS, and this is what we're going to have to be watching. And then does this sneak up into the Gulf? Does it move west-northwest? I'm thinking this sneaks up more into the Gulf of Mexico here, and then it could have a beeline for northern Mexico, Texas. Again, that seems like it's like a magnet here for these systems this year, but that seems to be the pattern right now, so we'll definitely be watching for that. And again, looking at the bigger picture, you could see there's actually a little bit of a trough left back from Igor here. This happens a lot with big systems like this. So in the Eastern Caribbean here, there's kind of this leftovers from Igor. So just, you could almost paint the line, trough right in here. This is going to move west, combined with some monsoonal energy right here off Central America. And this is where this is all going to be bundling up in the Western Caribbean here by the end of the week into the weekend. And then we'll have to see, will this move west-northwest? Will it move into the Gulf? Long way off, 7 to 10 days. But I'm thinking this could sneak up into the Gulf of Mexico here. And here's the western edge of our Invest 94L. And you can see some drier air right up in here. So it's going to be fighting that dry air definitely the next few days. Then again, looking off the coast of Africa here, here's 94L. Still not that tight yet. If you look at this carefully here again, looking at this view, kind of a egg-shaped here, so still kind of elongated. Still has to tighten up a little bit, but hey, we're getting some convection around it, and again, still a pretty good circulation center. So, like I said, I'd give this, again, as I was saying before, about 24 hours, and we could see a tropical depression out here if it could tighten up and if it can maintain its convection. And then we're also watching our next system move off the coast of Africa here, and we'll be watching this one for development as well the next few days. Well, that's it for my tropical update today. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned to liveweatherblogs.com for all your latest weather information. Have a great Sunday.